3, 2, 1, and we're live. Welcome to the first meeting of the discussion of Council 11 of 11. My name is Nick, and you live. Okay. Anyway. So my name's Nick, and I do private sessions, all kinds of things. I'm moving to South Carolina soon, so if you're in that area, I would like to find groups where I can do this in physical sessions in front of people. And, you know, if anyone wants to donate to me, I appreciate it because this is my job. So my PayPal is the same as my email, which is nick.james333@gmail.com, and I usually do channeling sessions, $55 an hour, but that can be worked out depending on your situation, and I help everyone no matter what, because I'm a pushover, obviously. So anyway, we have Jody, we have Gabriel, we have František, Dan, and Caroline. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome.
Good.
I'm wicked.
Brilliant. I see. So, did you guys want me to channel? Is that what the plan? I didn't have a plan.
You should channel everything.
At the same time.
Yeah.
That would be called Jesus.
No, Jesus is not everything.
Really? I don't think you know who he is.
But everyone is everything, in the sense.
But the reflection of that oversoul is Jesus. All around the universe, not just on Earth.
Then you might as well just channel source then. Cut out the middleman, just go straight
down to the of the Tao, the well of the Tao, and it can be light as you get to the very bottom.
Yeah, but we are basically channeling source right now, because we are source, in a sense. We cannot be separated. We only think that we are separated.
I don't.
Yeah. Others do.
Well, you think that because you say you think that.
I did not say that I think so.
You said we think.
We wanted to play the game of thinking that.
Well, make up your mind. Are you we or are you you?
It's we use now.
I understand, but if you say we as you, and what you're saying is that you're Jesus, there's a difference between understanding and being, and knowing. Very big difference. It's a matter of being from one side of the veil to the other. It's a matter of perspective. You choose which part of the collective you prefer. You can choose any collective that you prefer. It's part of the collective agreement. Kind of a loophole, in my opinion, but I like it. Okay, so do you guys... Okay, let's see. I haven't channeled, so...
You look awesome now. And your shark tooth.
Thank you. Belongs to my son. Hello, I am Archangel Micheal. How are you today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Everything goes on.
I apologize, what did you say? Is this thing on?
Yes, it's working. We had an interesting day today.
It has been interesting all around, but what do you imply that you're talking about? Are there any questions for me?
Do you have any message from the beginning to us?
From the... You humans seem to want a lot of messages. Is this all you ever come for, is messages? You ever come for expansion? You learn of wisdoms and esoteric histories, but do you apply these lessons to your waking daily life? I think you are making attempts, but to be
We're
true
working.
in that vibration of the highest form, you must let go of self-doubt. You must let go of fear. It no longer serves you in this world. The angels are always among you, and when you appreciate their service and thank them and acknowledge them, they only work harder.
How can we connect with the angels more?
As you already know, you can't connect to them more, you can only perceive a stronger connection. Be that. Be in the knowing that they are next to you, and each of you have two. Always. They are your highest selves from the seventh density, split in male and female always.
Can you share anything about the angel that's connected to me?
You have two, and you know their names. They're the same as yours.
Same as what?
Your name.
Okay.
You know Gabriel and Gabriella?
Yes?
Yes,
I felt that
your
way.
guardians.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. And once you ask for their help, ask for their guidance, do not pray to them, they are your kin. Pray to Jesus or God or your world or all that is. Do not focus prayer on a specific entity unless it is Jesus. You can appreciate entities, but do not make them as idols. Not even Jesus, he says. If you were to call on a name, you would call on Yeshua. If you were to call on all that is, you would Pray to the father or mother, whatever you connect with and vibrate, resonate with most. It is always most important to look within your heart before you make any decision. And what your heart says must go, because that is the truth. If you do not listen to your heart, you will find yourself in a dark forest with no friends and wild animals who all want to eat you.
How did you understand how to listen to your heart?
It was never very difficult for angels to do this. We were taught by our Father since the beginning, directly. We were never meant to be disconnected. Neither were you. You sometimes look up at the stars at night and imagine what it's like up there. What's it like up there? Have you ever stopped to think about those beings in the ships are not looking down at you, but up at some strange beings that somehow figured out how to gravitate themselves onto a floating ball? You ever think that you were actually looking down at the stars? It is just another perspective, a permission slip, as your people like to refer to it sometimes. It is an adjustment in perception. Understand that in the moment between death and birth, you are in 0 time. When you wake up into your new form, after you've ascended and passed, you wake up in your new form and the time is 1. 1. And sometimes it can be 11:11. It is interesting how you people call linear time, but you actually run on circular time. It's quite intriguing.
The circle of life, we call it.
Are there any further questions for me? Very well. I leave you all in peace and extend to you the understanding that you are more abundant and have been completely and utterly fully abundant in your whole existence on this planet than you have ever allowed yourselves to believe. You are the masters of limitation for a reason. Being a master of something is a deadly, deadly art. You have the power to create your life or the power to destroy it. I believe on your planet there is a saying, get busy living or get busy dying.
Can you share anything more about the angels that are around me, other than their names?
There is much information on these entities in your internet. There are ways for you to connect through meditation easier. Drawing what you think their faces look like in as much detail as you can would be a remembrance, a clear reality, a crystallization. They are twins, but different ages, in a sense. The female counterpart is younger.
And what can they help me with?
Everything. There's very little angels cannot help with.
Yes, and how do you...
We are here to serve you. Have you ever heard of the story of the elves and the shoemaker?
No, I have not.
Has anyone here heard of these stories?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Would you mind saying it in summarize for us?
It was mainly about the shoemaker, and he was very poor, needed to make some money, and at night he left the materials to make them shoes, and a couple of elves come along and started making all of his shoes for him, and they were absolutely perfect, the shoes. And then as time went on, he seemed to be able to make more and more shoes. He had more and more money, and I think the end was he was really grateful. He hid one night to see who was making these lovely shoes for him, and he found out it was these two elves, and he thought he'd do something for them, and he made them a couple of some outfits and like a little table and things like that with some little food and a thimble for a cup. And they're really pleased, and I think the story ended, I think they were really happy, these elves, and they went off all happy, something like that.
Yes, the idea is that the shoemaker was on his last material for his last pair of shoes that he could afford to make, and he was going to go out and have no money and possibly become homeless. So he put out the last pair, and I believe he prayed, which is not in the story, to God or Jesus. I believe this took place, the story took place, I don't know. The story exists in many lands. Anyway, the elves came, made perfection in shoes. The first person that came in the store paid double what they were worth, what he paid for, what he expected, because they were so impressed. And then every night he was able to buy more and more materials, put out the materials, and the next morning he would come, and at first he thought it was a dream, and the second time it happened, and then he just got used to it, and every single day more and more perfect shoes, and his business became booming. He even opened another shop, perhaps. Eventually, the story says that he appreciated them much and wanted to give them something as a reward, and made them clothes, him and his wife, and he took them and never came back again. And some people look at this as negative. The idea was that the shoemaker appreciated their existence and gave them their freedom from his service to him by making them equals, by giving them clothes, because he already knew that he was given everything he ever asked for, and he would never need or want for anything again, not because of his material wealth, but because of the world he lived in and where his heart was. The beings are attracted to they help those who deserve it. Let's put it that way. And they always appreciate to be freed when they are no longer needed. When you fully integrate with your angels, your higher perspectives of yourself in some ways, you will have their abilities, you will have their understandings and their wisdoms. You will no longer need their services, and they can move on to more focus, reintegrate themselves more and focus more on people who actually do require their type of miraculous assistance, assistance, existence. Are there any other questions before I leave?
I'm just interested now. Do you have any like music, or is it mainly singing?
We
on
may
your
sing. We do have instruments such as harps. We have trumpets of sorts. We have not exactly drums, but how do you describe it? A lot of our instruments are our bodies. Oftentimes you will hear thunder in the heavens when we are having a party.
Yeah. I had a big thunderstorm when I was my 18th birthday.
Yes, you were up there celebrating with us. In the cloud city of Olympus. Some people refer to Olympus as heaven. Olympus is a level of heaven.
But do you have a physical form?
Of course. I come down to your world all the time. And you would see me as a homeless person most of the time, or some person that doesn't seem to have a thought in their head.
Yes, but how can I see you as a homeless person when you have a home?
You can see me as you believe me, but if you're asking to physically see me, the only way you'd be able to perceive me is for me to enter into your density. I live in the 7th density. You live in the end of the 3rd. If you were willing to walk all the way up the stairway to heaven, you could see me just as I am. But apparently you would like to stay on the 3rd step for now. If you'd like to take a step forward into the 4th density, we invite you. We invite you to take the steps all the way up. But it is always your decision.
Yes, I'm working on the way I want to go. I'm not really sure what
There
way
is
I
only
want to
one
go.
way, to be honest. It's a stairway. You seem to have some confusion about the hierarchy of the spiritual realms of your universe. Most of you do, and this is okay. It is a matter of integration and positive reaction to all that is.
I have a question relating to the spirit realms, if that's okay.
Of course.
When you say to take the step up to the 4th density, one thing that I'm trying to wrap my conscious mind around at the moment is there an opportunity to walk around on that level and explore that level for however long you wish to, and then continue up onto the next step, or is it more specific that you have to
In a
continue?
sense, at the moment on your planet, everyone's trying to walk up the steps. If you are at the top of the steps, leading the pack, and you are not willing to take the next step, you will fall off the side of the stairs.
Okay, that makes perfect sense to me.
Thank you.
I was wondering more about the... we have a few groups of extraterrestrial beings that come and visit us from the fourth density. I was wondering, how do they... does the whole level shift with them if they're in a united consciousness, or would they have to assume to take the next step to lift themselves up further?
In order for first contact to occur of any type with ships landing, you must trust yourself and understand that these beings from these higher densities and dimensionalities are your reflections, your selves, your higher versions of yourselves in those societies. Those are who you will be shaking hands with most likely at first.
Okay, wonderful.
They will meet who they must meet, meaning themselves. It is just a matter of ascension for them as it is for us. As I have spoken to you before, you look at the stars as up, they look at you as up. Understand the divine dichotomy here?
Yes, yes. I've had a feeling of something similar to what you've just said for quite a few years now.
Very good.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you.
What do you learn from us? What do we teach you?
Patience, mostly.
And you teach us patience too.
Not exactly. We have come to teach you to be impatient, in a sense. Okay. Synchronicity. I believe this conduit or someone that came through him, I believe it was Nicholas who said that he had spoken to Zeus and there were going to be floods in the next day. This was yesterday. I had just gotten a message that there are flash flood warnings for 3 p.m. in my area. Synchronous collective agreement.
Then you can go surfing.
Surfing on the sun, maybe.
Who is there now?
Where the sun?
Who is talking now?
This is Micheal.
Yes, you change your voice. It's hard to...
I apologize if you perceive my voice as anything close to what's coming out of this vocal cord, because that is not the truth.
Yes, right now it's a little bit harder to communicate in this way with you.
Harder if you say so for yourself. I disagree lovingly. It seems as though your world is heavy today. Heavier than normal. And more alive than it has been in a long time.
Do you mean the world as in our home planet, or do you mean the world as in the collective humanity and animal kind of the
I'm
planet?
talking about Gaia.
Awesome. Awesome.
You are all recreating the garden. You are tending it once again, and we appreciate this. It is time for many of you to move your physical locations. Many of you from the Yellowstone Park area, many of you from California where there are many earthquakes and you are near the water. It is time to move away from Florida, mostly. The shores will be bombarded with water in the coming months. Be warned. This will not be a flood, but a flood of new ideas and consciousness that will reflect back as weather on your world.
Can you tell me anything about Sweden?
Sweden is safe for now.
Is Iceland safe?
Yes. It will have some weather. Some possibly water storms, but nothing too dangerous. Mostly it has to do with there's also areas in China that are in danger. Danger as in weather alerts.
How about the UK? Because we seem to.
UK is pretty sturdy, but they're very sensitive. A war in your country would be devastating.
How about
that your royal family does not lead you into that? They seem to try and stay out of things, am I correct?
I don't think the UK's army is interested in another war right now.
No, I only worry about civil war in that country. I do not worry. I sense collective energy in that area.
I sense the whole Europe does not have any interest in and participate in any wars, really.
Sometimes it must get worse before it can get better. Lowering numbers in 2027 perhaps can force negative mentalities out of the surface faster. The more these things get resolved now, the less there will be a need for them in 2027.
Yes. Do you have any tips for me to find a way to get to swim with dolphins?
You must find dolphins and swim with them. What is your question?
Yes. I'm not sure how I can get to the dolphin right now.
Usually you have to walk and then you'll have to swim a little bit. Are you saying location-wise?
Yeah. I live in Sweden, so there's no any dolphin in the water in Sweden.
Then you would have to leave Sweden. Apparently.
Yes.
Are you asking how you can get money for this?
I don't ask. Preferably, it would be very easy if I don't really require money to get to
Well then,
the dolphin.
consult with your guides and guardians. Pray to no idols. And trust yourself and trust your excitement. Trust your excitement. Are there any more questions? Very well.
I don't think there's another question.
Thank
The other one doesn't
you.
have the mic on.
Thank you for this conversation. I will return again if you wish. So mote it be, in nome de Jesus Christ. Amen. Shit.
That's crazy, bro.
Oh man. Well, if there's more people in there, it could go longer, but there's not enough people.
But basically, nobody else wanted to ask question, and it's really hard to ask question when they are in their.
Plus, I never
Oh.
plan any of these things out lately. I just invite people to a random group chat.
Yeah, you just share it on Skype.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.